you had a certain energy. Your body's closely intertwined like we were meant to be. No, I know, and it's killing me. Not the one you wanted, not originally. I hope you found what you're searching for. I hope it's everything you wanted and more, and more. Always have a friend in me. Where you go if it's too low, just come on back to me. Yeah, I know, and it's killing me. But think about our history. Real talk, you know nothing about real talk. Cause every time that we do talk, you find a way to slip away. When will you realize you need to swallow your pride and find out why you're so stuck in your ways? Cause you had a certain energy. Our bodies close, we intertwined like we were meant to be. Now I know, and it's killing me. I'm not the one you wanted, not originally.
Sweet, that sounded good. Welcome to Bands of Bakersfield Podcast. It's on the PodBelly Network where you can find some other cool podcasts and whatnot too. Today we have Faith Angelus. Thanks, Faith, for joining us. Tell us what that song is about. It's an original, right? Tell us the name of it too.
This is called Certain Energy. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate being
No problem.
here.
Thanks for making time.
It's super cool.
Yep.
Yeah, Certain Energy I wrote like a year ago. It's definitely one of the first songs ever by me. Like, even though it was a quick one. It was probably like a 3 a.m. sesh. I knew that I was gonna be playing at Dagny's, which was my first performance ever, and I was like, I gotta come up with something. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's the only original I played that time at Dagny's, and yeah, I wanted it to be, you know, kind of cool in the wordplay. Yeah. Relatable. It was I don't think it was something that was happening to me currently at that time, but it's something I definitely experienced where you're just not someone's first choice. You're on the list, you're just not on the top.
Not the top of the totem pole.
Yeah, one kind of stings a little bit.
I think everybody could relate to that.
Yeah, I feel like I've had a couple experiences like that. You know, you're not always going to be someone's ideal partner. Which is fine, like, because we're all, you know, just trying to figure out what we like and what we don't.
Totally.
Which is valid.
It just doesn't feel fine in the moment.
Yeah, but also I feel like I was just maybe like dramatic, which a part of me will always be that way because that's also kind of how I write music. Yeah, I wouldn't have the song if I wasn't just like so dramatic about it. It was probably just like a fling. And they're like, yeah, just, you know, you're cool, but I'm just going to go ahead and head out. And it's like, all right, for sure.
You played that on that Dagny's show that we were talking about earlier. That was your first show ever.
That was my first show
What made you want to write a song about that on your first show ever? It was scary. That's kinda, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I wanted it to be, I would have
picked something less deep because I wouldn't have the guts in my first show. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I wanted to have some sort of hook. Like, if this was going to be the beginning to my story, I wanted it to be a big bang. You know what I mean? Instead of something just kind of like surfacey and not and commercialized. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I wanted it to have some sort of depth. And I was like, even though, you know, it is a fairly deep song, I don't think it's nearly, I think I'm just on the surface still because there's so much more, there's so many stories I have and so many things I want to say. Like, for me, it was a good beginning because
I remember I was there. I had no idea who you were or anything at that time, but I just remember everybody was like, "Blah,"
Yeah,
whenever you
I
played
had the leather jacket. You had the leather
yeah, that's
jacket.
right.
We were right
I
there.
remember that. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
remember Matt's like, he was hosting it, and he was like, yeah, this girl's really good. And I was like, yeah, sure, Matt. You say they're all good, Matt. And then you played, and I was like, oh, yeah, okay. That's definitely wasn't expecting that. It's cool.
No, yeah, it was a good time. It was a really good time, and
Yeah, yeah.
I think it was a good way to grasp. I didn't realize how far I was gonna go with music at that time. It was just
Yeah.
that was me kind of jumping into the pool
Just
and
having fun, right?
and just having fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what, at the end of the day, and it's supposed to mostly be, it's supposed to get some kind of joy out of it.
Yeah, it was so cool. And, you heard me on stage. I was like, this is awesome. I've
Yeah, I
never
remember
done this
that.
before. Like,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is so cool. And I got off stage and I was like, I want to do this
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
probably for the rest of my life. Like,
Props
I don't
to-
see myself just one day waking up and being like, yeah, I don't think I want to perform anymore.
Probably won't happen. You're
Yeah.
probably going to want to keep in at least some capacity
Yeah.
be doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, well, this kind of changes the subject a little bit. You don't have to get super deep about this, but like, are you born and raised in Bakersfield, or if no, how long you been living here? Like a little bit of background, like tell us.
Actually, I grew up overseas. I was born here. I was born at Memorial, and I was really small when we kind of just up and left. My dad was in the oil industry at the time, and so similar to like an army brat, I was traveling a lot and saw a lot of cool places. My passport is filled up. Had to add
Really?
extra pages. Yeah, like
Dang.
I've definitely seen the world from a younger point of view.
Yeah.
But we moved back. I was in middle school.
Yeah.
I didn't know the Pledge of Allegiance. I didn't know anything. I
That's
was
crazy.
an alien. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I grew up here, I guess you could say.
Oh, how old
Like
were you?
middle school
Middle
through
school?
high school, like that
So a lot
stage.
of the really
A lot of the big
changes.
jumps, yeah,
yeah.
was here in Bakersfield.
Cool.
hmm
How is it here compared to other places? I mean, that's a hard question to answer real quick. But
The biggest thing I think I noticed,
like
was like-
musically, I guess maybe well, you were young, really young.
yeah, I was
obviously, a lot of those
super
places,
young.
but-
Honestly, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
I was
for
so
sure. That
I
makes
was so
sense. Yeah.
young. What
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do remember though is that coming here, I feel like people have this higher standard when it comes to like what's gonna keep them satisfied. Like in
Like financial standards, what's
like,
keep them satisfied, or
I've just noticed like you go because I grew up in Vietnam, Kuwait. Like I've spent some time way over there, like on the opposite side of the world, and so
crazy.
it's a lot of the time it's hard to explain. There's no cars, like
Yeah.
the telephone wires are down to the ground type of like
Jeez.
place I was there's a
Yeah.
lot of poverty, but like with that came like lower standards
Yeah.
for happiness and like
Oh, gotcha.
contentment. And when you come here, it's like, especially like being so close to LA, there's a lot of people that are just like, I need more and more and more and more. And
Yeah.
what's
Fancy
the
cars
next
and whatnot.
thing? Yeah, people are always on the move. But when it, like over there wasn't much to begin with. So it's like
Yeah.
you would see kids like playing in the gutter with like a deflated soccer ball. And
Wow.
they were just like
Nowadays,
the
it's
biggest
iPads
smile
and-
on their faces. Yeah, it's
or here,
that. So that's
you know.
the biggest difference for me. It was just like,
Crazy.
yeah, it's a trip.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
What sorry. Did you hear that, Alan? Sorry. Anyway, what do you do besides music? A little bit, like, or for the audience. We kind of chatted about it a little bit. You don't have to go too crazy.
What
on
do
it,
I
but,
do besides music?
like your job, I guess. All
My
the stuff you like.
my
right?
9 to 5. My 9 to 5. Yeah, I work at Central Cardiology here in town, and I wear scrubs and pretend I'm important. I don't do much. Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it.
Somebody's got to do it. Yeah. I was
yeah.
going to school for a while for sonography. But getting a taste of just performing live and growing so much within the past year
Yeah.
has just been like a wake-up call. Like, I feel like I just have to go for my dreams. If it doesn't work
Do
out,
it.
honestly, at least I tried, because
Yeah.
I see a lot of people at my job that are just like, they went to school and they're living this 9 to 5 stable, very stable life that they're living, but they're also not happy.
Yeah.
So
not
it's like,
content, maybe.
I don't know not one person there that's, that comes into work and is like, hell yeah, another day.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. You know, I know.
no, they all dread being there, and I'm like,
It almost gets more scary. It took me a lot longer to realize what you just said, but it almost gets to the point where it's more scary to just not give it a shot and playing music.
it is more scary
than it is to sit back and wonder, well, what if I didn't like just go for it?
It's always going to be the what ifs, and I don't want that to haunt me, because that's
pretty fun process too, I think. But
absolutely.
So I was gonna ask. I ask a lot of people this, like, what got you into music? But you kind of just explained it, and I was there for part of it. Like the thing that wanted to make you be a serious songwriter. Someday you would like to have a
I
career
think it
at
all
this.
started
Kind of came from that.
It all started with Dagny's, Matt and Naomi.
Yeah.
Great people.
For sure.
They
Wonderful
they
people.
changed the game for me, and they're just so inspiring, and they brought in such an encouraging crowd. Like,
yeah, totally. They were
honestly,
really good at that.
couldn't have asked for a better way to hop into the scene.
Totally. Just props to Matt and Naomi at Wise Mouse
Yeah.
Media. They're not hosting the the open mics, but they're doing other stuff. So.
Yeah, I miss them, but
Yeah,
also I just want them to be happy and
for sure.
content with what they're doing within their own lives. They deserve that. They're such great people.
Really good people. They're great friends of mine, and I mean, if it wasn't for them doing this, you wouldn't be on the podcast. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it kind of, their last showcase, it felt like a chapter closing and a new one beginning for me.
Yeah. And so, well, you know what? Let's go ahead and do you want to go ahead and do a second song?
Yeah.
And I'll get a little lead into another thing. Sweet.
When I'm sober, I'll tell you all the things I wish I could tell you now, but I'm not sober, and I'm not sure how I got here, so don't you tell me that I'm worth it. It's not true, and I don't deserve it. I wish that I was right now, so I could tell you all the things that I've been meaning to say to your face. Is that okay? When I'm sober, we can finally go and get our own place. I'll be sober, and all the time you spent on me won't feel like such a waste. Yeah, I know you saw that green couch at that old thrift shop way downtown. So when I'm sober, I'll tell your mom that I have always loved you. I'll be sober, and we can talk about all the shit I put you through. It's not what I wanted to do, not what I wanted to do. When it's over, I'll tell you all the things I wish I can tell you now. It'll be over. It'll be over. Yeah, I know you saw that green couch at that old thrift shop way downtown.
Awesome. So, what's that one about?
Yeah, I went through. I was in a really complex relationship. I had been in a relationship for 3 years,
Okay.
and
Relationships get complicated sometimes.
yeah, this one's I wrote this song about a year ago too,
Yeah.
and I wasn't entirely sober during that time for a long period of time.
Yeah.
I just struggled with, just like the basic characteristics of like an addict, which is just like low self-esteem and like just having like a negative output. And yeah, it was a time.
Yeah.
And I feel like I put that other person through a lot of that
Some
struggle. Yeah, a lot of that. That's
That's
and
honest, though.
it's very it's very like right there in the song. Everything is very self-explanatory.
Is doing this cathartic for you too? Like helping,
Yeah.
move from that?
For sure.
Kind of like journaling, maybe.
Yeah, it is kind of just like saying what you need to say.
Yeah.
Even if it's not directly to them, it is.
Yeah,
it is in here because you're putting it all out on a piece of paper, and it's crazy how you can just like write out this intense story on this piece of paper, and then just like that holds so much power now. Like it turns into just like it's a piece of paper to like something super personal to you, and like it was a personal time, and I put that person through a lot, and I've grown, and someone's gonna get a better version of me.
There you go.
The next person gets the better version. It's kind of the theme, I feel like, in a lot of situations. Yeah, it was a weird time.
We all go through those weird times. No, that's cool though.
But once it's in the song, I'm like, once it's over, I can say these things,
putting something behind you, kind of feelings. Maybe
it's kind of when I wrote it, I wasn't sober either. So
okay.
But for some reason, it's like the clearest thoughts I've ever had during that time. It was like, when I am though, I can say these things to you and then be valid because I'm in the right state of mind.
Yeah.
Versus right now, I can't, because then they hold no meaning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sort of.
Do you feel like too that, and I'm coming from my own experiences, wondering if it's similar for you, like when you write a song, like those thoughts could have been just a passing thought that you forgot that you ever had, right? But you wrote them down, and now it's a song that you play. And does it kind of help you keep like some kind of bearings on point A to point B? Like, hey, that's where I was, and now I'm not there.
That's so true.
Does it help with that?
It is like a timeline. It's like when I look at all of my originals, it really is just
like
a timeline.
Cathartic timeline, maybe.
It's a timeline of what I'm going through, and it sounds great, and someone's gonna relate to it, and even if it doesn't really resonate with me anymore, it's still a great song, and it's a topic that should be talked about, because it's not a lot of the time, because
absolutely,
who wants to talk about the fact that they put through who wants to take the blame? Like, nobody. You know what I mean?
But you almost have to. I think people have to move on. Everybody's done something stupid. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of,
sure.
You know what I mean? Like, or something they need to grow from, or whatever, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot had to do with just immaturity, and
we all
other trauma that had nothing to do with that other person was more deep rooted.
Past baggage and stuff. Maybe.
Yeah, it was my journey that I needed to live on my own, but instead I brought a whole nother being into it, and that was kind of where I fucked up, because I should have worked on it by myself instead of being like, carry me through this. You know what I mean? Because at that point, when I look back, it's like, that's pathetic. You need to handle your shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, so. Easier said than done, though.
But, it is. It really is. We all, misery loves company. And
I'm 37, and I'm still got all kinds of, like I said, I feel 21 a lot of times, But I was gonna say too, like, so you're obviously a talented artist, relatively new, but your voice sounds great, which is one of the reasons why you're on here. Your guitar playing's good. You obviously had to put some time into that to cultivate that, to get good at it.
For sure.
And you're doing a day job, which, no offense to the career path or whatever, but it's probably not your most like stoked thing ever that you do every day, right? But I'm sure you're thankful for it and all that. But and it gets really hard to do, because I did for a long time to have a day job or night or whatever, a regular job where you're putting 40 or 50 hours a week into it, or so. And then you're doing your thing that you're passionate about outside of it. It's complicated. Like,
it is complicated.
Time-wise, it's stressful. It's tiring.
It's like living two different
lives. How and why did you put in the time to get good enough? Good enough, I mean, that's roughly relative. Good enough to where you start playing out and stuff like that. And then, we talked briefly when we were still at the coffee shop that you want to, you'd like to have some kind of career in this and get some paying gigs and stuff. And we chatted about that. Why would you want to do that? It's almost crazy. It's like you could just have a simple little life, work your day job, have your weekends off. And, I'm in the same boat, and a lot of artists are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not being into music is sometimes kind of crazy and unorthodox. You know what I mean? But,
for sure.
And there's no wrong answer here. I like to ask this question because I kind of want to know what makes them tick, like what inspires them to want to do it like this, because you could just sit in your room the rest of your life and play, and there's nothing wrong with that,
For
but
sure.
what makes you want to like get out and do that, and put in the time and the work and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, if it doesn't work out,
Yeah.
I will be that person that just plays in my room
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
rest of my life.
Yeah.
But it's, the 9 to 5 is stable. The stability is desirable, yes, but
boring.
boring. It's I just want more.
Yeah.
And that, that's
Yeah.
for myself, and what my heart wants, it's just like this loud pounding for me. It's like in my ear. So it's just like, while I look at these people that have the stable 9 to 5 and, can pay their bills and all that great stuff, I figure I'm still young. I have time. Like,
Totally.
School's going to be there.
And you're
It's not just going to disappear one day.
You're like, respect guys, no offense, but that's not what I want to do.
Not
That's
right
what
now.
Nothing wrong
No,
with that.
it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like,
I understand that too.
the
I get it.
stability is, although it is comforting,
Yeah.
that sounds great and everything, and being comfortable and having, a decent income and everything, but it's just, I think I'm dedicated to the unorthodox way of doing things. I've kind of always been that way.
In certain ways, it feels, I think I don't know if we were recording or not, we somewhat touched on this, but like, it might feel, well, this is a question. It feels more scary to not give music your best shot?
Yeah, for sure.
And
That
maybe take the
terrifies
risk
me.
of being uncomfortable doing that than to just never have.
Yeah, because if I did take that route where I was like, because there's this whole stereotypical like thing around, go to school, do this, you'll be set and you'll be fine. But it's like, it is scarier to not follow my dreams, because I'm gonna have a different type of uncomfortableness within that lifestyle of what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and then there's some people that went the safe route and lost everything too. Maybe less.
Nothing's
people,
guaranteed.
Nothing's
I'm
guaranteed.
like, what was it all for then? Because we don't know. In my point, I'm like, what comes after? Who knows? But while I'm here, I got to do what I have to do for me, because I don't want to waste any time.
Don't blame me.
You know what I mean? Like,
I totally do. I understand.
Because I said I have time. I'm still young and everything, but it's like, people talk about how that flies all the time.
It does.
That's all I ever hear.
It goes by so
They're
fast.
like,
I still
it's gonna go by so fast. One day you're gonna wake up and you're gonna be like 60.
Yep.
And I'm like, I want to be rocking out to my songs at 60.
Good.
Like,
That's good.
I don't want to be like, I don't know. I don't want to be like retiring and then just having like my grandkids and like cooking.
You want to bring your grandkids
something.
to your concerts.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It's not
Totally.
even about, I feel like for a lot of people, it's about the check and it's about the spotlight and
It
it's
is.
about all of that, which is great. It's like a cherry on top, because it's cool. People perceive it as like a cool lifestyle, which is great. And everybody wants to be cool, but it's so much deeper for me. Like, I was on the phone with my mom the other day, and she completely supports my decision to just give it my all.
Yeah.
But it's because I broke down in tears, not even realizing, like, I was like, Mom, you don't understand. Like, this is everything to me. It's what's held me together. Even though there was a time for me without music, and it wasn't that long ago, I wouldn't even know how to go back to that anymore, because I've just already been exposed to the dream, like little bits and pieces. I can like, I have a glimpse of like what it could be.
That's cool. We got you at a cool time, and like you're like right in the spot where it sounds like you got like a fire lit, and you're really
really
hungry to get going. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of knew who you were, and you knew who I was, and you sent me the Instagram message like, hey, how do I get paying gigs? I'm like, nobody asked that. I got to listen to her music. You know what I mean? So that was cool. Now, so it's obviously, it sounds like you're doing music to put like simply or in shorts, because it's just what you really, really want to do, and that's cool. And you're trying to deal with all that adversity and fears of not being normal, maybe, and stuff, the 9 to 5 or whatever, in order to have some success for you. And there's artistic success, I guess you could say, where you write a cool song and you like it, and maybe some of your friends like it, and that's success. But then there's financial success. you don't strike me as the type that you probably don't really care if you get rich or famous or anything like that. But like I've listened to some artists, like there's one Joe Pug, and he makes good money. He's not rich. If he walked into the coffee shop, most people probably wouldn't even know who he was. But he does good, and he does music for a living. You know what I mean? And then there's guys that are freaking huge. So like, what would it look like to you? Like, do you want to be a mega celebrity, or would you just like, I don't care, I just want to be me and be able to make a living at that so I can do more me musically? Or like, I don't know.
That's what it is, really. It's like, I need to at least try to get to a place where music is carrying me just enough.
Yeah, but
that's
still be
all I
real
care
in the
about.
process, right?
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know from experience, because I'm obviously not rich or famous or a celebrity, but it seems like from what I could tell, that maybe when you get some artists that are huge, their music is kind of like well, they're not really writing.
Yeah,
Maybe they're not really behind
totally
it
get
emotionally.
what you're saying.
Yeah, kind of fabricated.
It's weird. Like, some people do crave that level of like intense amount of fame, but it's like, I want the best of both worlds. I also want to be able to just go out
to a coffee shop
and not have like a bunch of people surround me and give me like anxiety.
Yeah.
So it's like my ideal like vision would just be like just enough, just making enough to like support me to where I can still do this.
Yeah.
And not, because there is a lot of judgment too that comes with that.
Totally.
And like the bigger you get, the more people you're gonna have that just don't care for you and like to express that because they're just haters. And don't even know you and just hate you for no reason. Like, that sounds terrible. But also it's like, I want to get to a place where it supports me enough to where I can keep doing it. Like, that's it. That's it. Like,
if you want to play music all the time, if it can support you, you can play music
exactly.
like all the time.
You can play music all the time and keep doing what you love. And it's like,
so right now you're thankful for your 9 to 5, but you're not playing music for 8 hours or 9 hours a day.
Exactly. So it's like, that's what's getting me by, but I would really like to transition into a place where I don't need that.
Totally.
So I can just do me and, sing the songs I want to sing and do what I want to do. There is a certain level of fame where it's like, you can't do that anymore because you have all these contracts and all these, like logistical stuff
that I don't even want to know about.
I don't even care about that. I'm like, I don't care about that. I don't care for that life. It's just like,
totally.
Yeah, I want a cool group of people that like what I like and we can jam out together, and I can also, unfortunately, because I need money to just survive.
You gotta make.
I just need to make enough to just like get by in that lifestyle.
Cover your bills.
Exactly. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. Nothing too crazy.
That makes sense to me. You want to give us another song?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Turn. I've been living and learning, but I feel so fucked up right now. Now it's just me and my feelings, staring at the ceiling, trying to figure out how do I get out. Now I'm staring at the ceiling, and now I'm feeling all these feelings. Can we make it out? Can we escape from this time? Don't think that I don't care. I just have a hard time feeling when my emotions get way too loud. And if you don't have the time, then it's fine. I'll be alright. I just have a really hard time feeling. The picture, then you'd know where my heart's at. You say that you missed me. I've been hiding in my head all this time. This time. Please don't think that I don't care. I just have a hard time feeling when my emotions get way too loud, way too loud. I wish I could paint the picture, then you'd know where my heart's at. You say that you missed me. I've been hiding in my head all this time, all this time, all this time, all this time.
Awesome. There's another good one. Tell us what it's about again. It's like the other ones.
So I was in a few different places when I wrote it. So
Cool.
I feel like I was different people.
Did it take like an extended amount of time? And
I mean, I wrote it pretty recently. Like it's been maybe not even a month, but it's like I go through so many changes. Like it's insane. Like, yeah, it's a roller coaster. Initially, the song is about me wanting to make it.
Yeah, for sure.
Wanting to make it doing this. And
Cool.
I talk about how I'm tired of waiting my turn, like my turn to eat, my turn to get there, because I have been living and learning and going through all these changes, and it's like, okay, I'm ready for the blow up, but it's like you have to be patient. And
Totally.
I know that in the relationship I'm in now, I'm not as vulnerable, I guess you could say, as I was in my previous relationship, which I think contributes to the fact that I won't have that come up until I'm able to just fully be myself loudly. Like, and that's what I'm trying to express in the song is, don't think I don't care or that I don't want this enough. I do. It's just hard for me. It's hard for me. Like,
totally. You get deep with the song meanings. I don't think that's good though. That's that's what I want. Like I want platforms for you to kind of express what's going on.
Yeah.
The changes that you're going through, are these songs reflecting like like environmental, physical changes or emotional changes or all the above? Or
I think it's all mental for sure.
mental emotional type stuff.
Mental emotional changes and just how I perceive myself, because it's wild. It's so weird being in your like early 20s because you're still figuring out who you are and like what's important to you and what's not. And it's like there's also this insecurity that I'm not enough for people, and it's just like this wild, like,
roller coaster.
I don't know. I do carry a lot of depth for sure. I've met people that don't, which is that's great, you know, because I just feel like generally maybe you're happier because ignorance is bliss in my opinion. But I'm so self-aware, it's insane. So it's just like I go through so many changes. Like I'll look in the mirror one day and be like, I love you, bitch. And then like the next day I'm like, what are you doing with your life? It's crazy. So that's also kind of what it's about for me. It's like get to a place where you can get vulnerable, and then maybe you can fully, and this interview is so uncomfortable for me, but it's also growth. Like just being super vulnerable, letting people know that music is my everything and I do care about it.
Sure.
I just have this buildup of feelings sometimes, and I get overwhelmed and kind of shut down.
Yeah. And your songs are pulling from really real things that you're really going through. So, and unfortunately, a lot of times when people are writing about what they're really going through, it's not super happy. So I can imagine it's not comfortable to sit here and talk about it. You know what I mean? So thank you for doing it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's good that you're doing that. You know, it's I don't know. This will kind of lead into another question I want to ask, but can you imagine like your favorite artist, you know, you go in to watch them live on YouTube, or maybe you bought a ticket to see him in a concert, and then they're like, no, he doesn't even believe what he's saying, or she doesn't even believe what he's saying. You know, this song is not, he's just trying to cash in. It's not real. That would suck. You know what I mean? So,
for sure.
you know, so it's kind of almost like, And there's nothing wrong with having some lighthearted, fun songs either. You know what I mean?
Some people just like to dance, which is cool.
But that's real too. Sometimes you feel lighthearted and want to have fun and dance. You know what I mean?
And sometimes that is deep.
Sometimes that's it. Yeah, right.
For me, it's hard to get to a lighthearted place. So if I were to get to a lighthearted place, it's like, that's some deep shit right there. Because I haven't been able to do that in a long time.
Right. But a lot of people act like that's all they got. Like everything's always happy. You know what I mean? But that's not true.
Not
it's
the case.
A mixed bag of all different kinds of stuff. You know?
And if just one person can relate,
totally.
That's all I ask for.
Totally.
Just put it out and hope it's useful.
You're going to do this anyway, right? And so if somebody else can relate, then you're sharing it, and then that's even cooler, you know.
Yeah.
What were the question I wanted to ask though, what you got super inspired to do music, you someday want to make it a career, do it live, write your own music, from the coffee shop thing, but like what kind of music did you listen to that got you, every artist that, or at least that I know so far, most artists that write and do their own stuff, though they're trying to be original and they don't want to copy them, but they have somebody that they really look up to, their writing or their playing or somebody that they really are into. What few artists do you really enjoy listening to? Like a desert island artist. if you got it, that's a hard
list.
question.
Honestly, there's so many.
Actually, don't do 3. Just do a few you feel like you can think of, because that's almost impossible. Do like just 3, and we'll be here all day talking about our favorite artists.
Yeah, right. I know. I'm like, and then there's this.
There's too many of them. And
but then there's
player.
Also.
yeah. Totally.
I really enjoy listening to Jessie Reyes. She's just insanely talented, and she's also very vulnerable with her work, and she's very clever with her words. And
Jessie Reyes.
I never heard her. Just released an album, and so good.
Cool.
So good. Love her.
Nice.
Amy Winehouse.
Oh, of course.
Is a big one for me.
Great voice.
Like forever in my heart. One more. I gotta say, Burston Maroney.
I don't know. You're gonna have to send me a song of the first and I'm always also trying to hear new music. I never even heard of those first 2 or the first and third one. So
but check 2 of them are fairly younger, like in artists. Well, I feel like Jessie's definitely on her come up right now for sure. Burston Maroney, he's not a superly known artist, but he is just so authentic, and it's something that you can tell that he holds dearly to him, is that he's always going to be just himself. Yeah. And that's cool. You know what I mean?
I imagine that might give an artist longevity too. You imagine trying to pretend all the time. It's probably stressful, even more stressful.
And I feel like him as an artist, he has so many more fans that are way more intimate with him. Yeah. Because he is just himself. And he looks so cool doing it because he doesn't care. Yeah. Like he's just going to be himself, and that's what it is. And Amy, she's just she's so relatable. God, I love her.
I haven't listened to her a lot, but obviously I've listened to her.
It's like her songs are so catchy and upbeat, but are about the most depressing shit. Yeah. I love that combination. She took the best of both worlds, where you can dance and be sad at the same time, because just so deep and so real and messy and raw. She's just crazy talented, and obviously she went through a lot of shit, and I feel like I've gone through the same struggles that she has at one point in my time, and she's probably the most relatable and most deep connection that I have to another artist
that you don't know,
that I don't, that's for me is just on a higher on this pedestal,
for sure,
honestly,
for sure. And so would you say those artists definitely, not that you're trying to copy them or nothing like that, I don't mean that, but they inspire you?
There's always going to be influences. Yeah,
and they influence.
They do influence. Like if you listen to those 3 artists and then you listen to my songs and my covers and what have going on, it's honestly a combination of those 3.
Yeah, I think everybody does that, whether they admit it or not.
Yeah, and it's it's so ridiculous to not admit that you have influences. Because you get inspiration from somewhere. Yeah, you have to. You know what I mean?
Totally. And it's not like you're trying
you have
to
have
a
a style.
copy.
You know what I mean? You're gonna fall into a stylistic group.
Yeah, totally.
And you know what I mean? So it's
totally. That's super cool. Yeah, send me that first and third artist though, or just a song whenever you get around to it. I'd just be cool to hear what they sound like. But another thing I wanted to talk about is on top of the fact that you do a 9 to 5, and you write and you sing and you play guitar, you also record your own stuff.
I do.
Which is nuts. And for I guess you don't sleep to do all these things. You know what I mean? So you don't sleep, and I listened to your single, and I had no clue that like I said, technically this is the most we've hung out is right now doing the podcast, right? But so I obviously had no idea you engineered your own single. Eventually you're gonna have
that sounds
an EP
crazy cool. I engineered
you're a tracking
to me
engineer.
It was just like a bunch of me winging it and hoping it's
what it is
good.
But it sounded, I don't been doing music for 22 years, and not only could I not have done that, I don't care to sit there behind a computer and press buttons because it's just not me, you know what I mean? But it's super cool that you did that, and you've only been doing that too for a couple of years, I'm guessing.
I invested in Logic about a year ago.
So in 2 years, you just happen to be pretty dang good at singing, playing guitar, and recording.
No, seriously. No, seriously.
Pretty good start. You know what I mean? Yeah. I definitely was not there when I was 21. That's for sure. And
I
that
appreciate
song,
that.
No, yeah, I'm not even joking. That's crazy to me. And that you're actually, that's the thing too, is like you're good. Like I don't know how you get good at, just again, maybe not sleeping, but I like to think I've done pretty good at the stuff I've been doing for a long time, but I definitely wasn't doing 3 things good in a couple years. So it's props to you on that. But you got the single that's out is like full band vibes. Did your Bleeding? Okay. And your drummer that plays live with you when you do like more of the rock kind of thing, was that his drum tracks on there?
No, that's just a beat machine.
Just a beat machine. Yeah. Cool. So you wanted to go that route with the sounds and stuff.
Well, I wasn't playing with Evan at that time.
Oh, gotcha.
Honestly, I'm not opposed to him laying it on top of future songs.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
But
that's
I just wasn't.
That was how you envisioned it then.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean? That's just how it was.
Also, I was just like in this zone where I was doing everything on my own. I was like recording, mixing, mastering, producing all on my own. So it was like I didn't even think to like, oh, I have a friend that plays drums.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It didn't even cross my mind, honestly.
How's the chemistry of the drummer? You guys vibing good?
Super cool. Good. It's super cool. It's always a fun time.
I saw you guys. You were rehearsing or something like that. I think it was before your Jerry's show.
Yeah, he has his own band, Evan Oxford, and they're super cool.
Name before somewhere.
Yeah, I think they named it after somebody. I don't know. Super cool people. They're a whole different genre, but yeah, Evan's very talented. Our chemistry is great, and
sweet.
I have a feeling that we'll be playing together more often.
Is the kind of at least loose plans for now is you guys are wanting to see maybe how this is going to pan out long term?
Yeah.
How
exactly, because our when we played at Jerry's, that was our first show together.
Yeah, for sure. Sweet. It sounded good. I heard, like I said, little clips. I was busy, so I couldn't go. But the single sounds good. You're going to do another version of the single when you have an album come out. We're not going to put the pressure on you to ask you to get that done anytime soon.
But the album is coming.
It's going to come.
We'll
say 2023.
We'll say that, yeah. We'll see.
What's your Instagram handle?
Faith Saray, FaithSaray.
So there you go, guys. Follow that so you can catch her gigs. Download her single, and then if you're somebody who books people and an atmosphere or a gig or something, preferably paid because she's got bills and she doesn't want to work at a heart hospital the rest of her
broke.
life.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But, hit her up for booking something. She's trying to get into that. I know that goes, and it's hard to get the ball rolling on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely think you could do it. Keep both things open. Do the band thing and do the solo thing. You know what I mean? I think that's what I do. It's funner too. It's less, you don't get as bored or something,
For sure.
Things. But Bleeding is the name of the single?
Bleeding.
So this is her single, Bleeding. She's going to play it for us right now. This is the
acoustic version.
Yeah, the acoustic, the exclusive Bands of Bakersfield 2022 acoustic version of Bleeding. Eventually we'll put all these songs on an album, and this is going to be the one on there.
And
yes, sir. And
before we head off and she plays the last song to close us out, you could find this podcast episode and other ones on bandsofbakersfield.com. Mike here always forgets that at the end.
I forgot 100% of the time so far.
I'll keep reminding him until he finally gets it one of these days. And find us on Facebook, Instagram, and on the web. It's just bandsofbakersfield.com and Bands of Bakersfield on Facebook and Instagram.
Yep. And go to Faith's gigs. There we go. Hit it, Faith, whenever you're ready. Sweet.
know if you'd be free this evening. You said you'd let me know you weren't sure if you were working. I have a few things to get off my chest. Lonely days and nights with no rest. Let's sit down, we'll lay out all the shit we've said. I called your phone, but you were sleeping. You never got back to me. Where were you? Where were you? And then you never got back to me. Can you wait on this side of Saturn till I make my mind up? You're all I've ever wanted and more. And I'll be your shoulder to cry on. I love the way that you love song. I know I should probably keep my mouth shut. You say I'm being reckless. I just think you're being selfish. 'Cause where were you? Where were you? Where were you? Where were you when I was bleeding and I was needing and I was bleeding and I was needing you? I was bleeding and I was needing you, but you never got back to me. Can you wait on this side of Saturn till I make my mind up? You're all I've ever wanted and more. Where were you? Where were you? Where were you? Where were you when I was bleeding?
That song was awesome. That's definitely my favorite one.
Thank
None of
you.
them are bad. That's cool. All right, well, thanks,
you.
Faith. All right, we're done, right? Sweet.
Awesome.